All right, what's up, guys? Another episode of the Gen X podcast. We've got a really fun topic today that I'm curious to hear what Sean and Troy both have to say about it. Today, we're going to be talking about movies that have changed for the better or for the worse. That'll be the topic of discussion. You guys want me to go ahead and play the first little clip here so we can get started, guys?
Fire it up. Let's see this thing.
Over my dead body.
Uchleniuma. Chespokututa Kristan Enko. Ya Oscar.
Yes, I bet you have.
Okay, so that's the first topic. Did Han shoot first? Sean, I'll throw it over to you. Let's talk about, I guess maybe we'll talk about there's a change in that, right? So in the later editions of Star Wars, I think it was the remaster for DVD, right? When they came out on the 20th anniversary edition, is that correct?
Yeah, it's got to be about the 20th anniversary.
I believe what happened was they remastered it for the 20-year anniversary in 1997. It was initially released in theaters. That's where I saw it, the remastered originally, and then it came out on DVD.
Okay. And there was a fundamental change that Lucas did. I believe it was his decision to where he made it so he did not shoot first, and he was fired at, which just went over his shoulder, ricochets, and then Han fires back in retaliation. Is that a justified change, or should it have been left alone? Troy, what do you think?
So I feel like it should have been left alone. That scene kind of set the tone for Han's character throughout the rest of the original film. He was like a Mustang, he was wild and free and kind of flew by the seat of his pants, so to speak. And I don't know if it was the shifting of the views on acts like that in society back in 97. I don't really remember there being a whole lot about it back then. But for some reason, Lucas thought he would tidy it up and make it look more like self-defense than just a cold-blooded kill.
All right. Sean?
I thought it was a dick move for him to change it personally. When you look at the character of Han Solo, he's kind of a pirate. He's a smuggler. He's always like, Troy was saying, he's kind of the fly by the seat of his pants. He has his own laws. He has his own things that he does. And so if you go ahead and you're sending a bounty hunter after him, at that moment, I think it was a perfect thing for him to do. But to then go ahead and change that 20 years later, I think it does diminish the character of Han Solo. Instead of being that pirate, kind of being that guy that's on the edge, you don't know what's going to happen. Now all of a sudden you put him in a different classification where all of a sudden, he's justified in everything he does. I don't want that for my pirates. I want my pirates to be unpredictable and cruel.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what Troy was saying. I think Lucas spent a lot of time building up backstory for these people and building up who they were fundamentally. And to change something like that is, in my opinion, a huge disservice. I wish, did Lucas ever come out and say what the reasoning was for that? I should look that up real quick. Let me see. So I just Googled it, and it says, Lucas explained he wanted to adhere to a more classic morality, similar to films from the 30s and 40s, where the good guy never shot first. He felt that a hero shouldn't commit cold-blooded murder, and making Greedo the aggressor allowed Han to be seen as a more justifiable figure. So I guess what Lucas is saying is it took away from him being a hero character. I don't know if I agree with that.
I certainly don't agree with that. I think that it gives you more depth as you change as a character over time to where, hey, I was maybe this rugged, non-caring person to someone that actually now has a different moral compass. And as you go through it, he changes.
He definitely spent 20 years overthinking that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And, to fix what isn't broken just for the sake of, trying to redefine what a character is, it's unfortunate. I know my oldest son, he saw Star Wars, the remastered, in the theater with me, and it was the first time he had seen Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
And so he never was exposed to that original version until much later. And so he only knew it as Han was retaliating or defending himself It'd be interesting to talk to him about that now and see what his thoughts are on the original compared to what he saw. Because to him, 1997 was the original, right?
Like what Troy said, he had 20 years to overthink it. I think you nailed it on the head with that comment, and you're totally right. I go back to, would self-defense only be the defining characteristic of a hero? When you look at, revenge movies like John Wick or Mel Gibson in Payback, or these movies where people are out for vengeance or whatever, do you still consider them a hero because they're going after the bad guy? You're not going to wait for a bad guy to shoot at you first, right? And they're still heroes.
Well, look at John Wick. He was a career assassin before his wife died and someone killed his puppy and sent him off. He was a career assassin. He wasn't a good guy, but you get the hero out of it at the end, kind of thing. You don't have to be a great guy to start a story to end up being a hero.
I believe that's the anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough, Troy. Maybe you're right. So what about changes in movies to fix mistakes? For example, the stormtrooper hitting their head, walking in the starship, or a crew member being visible, or cables being visible. Are you okay with those sort of corrections in movies 20 years later?
So I don't really care about stuff like that. I don't like, though, that because societal norms have changed, that you feel like you need to update a movie and make it more politically correct for the times. I think that's sad.
Perfect segue into my second movie, what Troy just said about societal norms forcing changes in movies. Let me share my screen. I'm going to show you guys clip number 2, and we'll have a discussion about it. So here's E.T., the original 1982. The famous scene where they're being chased down by the cops and the government, and E.T. lets them fly over the barricade. You notice the little shotgun here.
Yep.
Fast forward to the anniversary 2002 edition. It's been replaced with a walkie-talkie. All right. Sean, I'll turn it over to you, brother.
Once again, we're a kinder, safer space. I absolutely hate this. I absolutely hate it. You know, where I was raised at in Nevada, we got 18 absences per semester. And it's because families were still, even in the 80s and 90s, different parts of Nevada, more rural parts of Nevada, people were helping on the farms in the fall. They were out hunting and stuff like that. People still carried guns in their trucks and stuff like that. And now, because societal norms, everyone gets scared of things. We have to make it kinder and safer. When someone's going to get triggered by seeing a law enforcement officer holding a shotgun, that's just ridiculous.
So now, give me some context here, Matt, because this is probably the first time I've seen the ET change. So when they updated it for their anniversary, did they make an announcement? Oh, we've edited these guns out of this image, and now they have walkie-talkies because of the times, or did somebody just notice it watching the new version and comparing it to the old?
As far as I know, it was just noticed as a comparison. I don't think it was announced as a change. I know that it was like a digitally remastered version. So there were some special effects that might have been changed, and that was one of the things that ended up changing.
Yeah. So now, if that was the case, I guess I'm pretty indifferent. But if they're going to make that change and then try to sell it as, right for the times, the newer and better ET, then I got a issue with that. But if they just quietly change it and get on with their lives, who cares, right?
So I have an update to this one. Steven Spielberg has publicly stated that he regrets doing that change, and quote him, "Films should be a product of its era and should not be digitally revised to fit modern sensibilities." And he
absolutely agree. I agree.
And he reversed the change in later remasters. The guns were added back. Last topic. Is there ever a situation where you would agree with something like that, and I'll give you an example. Men in Black 2, the climax of that movie was filmed and took place on the top of the World Trade Center towers. Prior to that movie coming out, 9/11 happened, and so they scrubbed it and digitally altered it to be the Chrysler Building, and in the background of the movie, they replaced the World Trade Center towers with Chrysler Tower and Statue of Liberty pictures instead. Now, in that situation, what do you think? Is that an acceptable change for you guys?
So I'll let you go first on this.
I think it's an unnecessary change. I mean, I don't care.
I love it. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
I don't. I mean, why spend all that money to make that change? I mean, who cares? The buildings existed at the time they filmed it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I assume that the idea or the thought process might be it's a fresh memory because it just happened. They don't want to upset people. So maybe they're just trying to be sensitive to that. I kind of agree with what you're saying, Troy. I think I like to give people more credit than I think Hollywood does. And I agree with you. I think that if it existed at the time, leave it alone.
They go back and edit old movies. It's just the weirdest thing in the world to me. The movie, it was new. Everybody saw it. It was released on video. Everybody like rented it or bought it or whatever. Years go by. It's ran its course. Let's have some new movies. Spend your money on that.
Amen.
Don't go back and fix something or change something that's 20 years old. I think it's dumb. I'm going to go back to high school and retake that class that I got a bad grade on.
Yeah.
So I can rewrite my history.
Go paint this wall I wrote my name on with the girl's number or something. I mean, come on.
All right. Well, that's what we think on those three movies. Let us know what you think. Put a comment down below. Tell us if we're right, if we're crazy, if we're wrong. Bring up an example of a movie that maybe we didn't talk about that we should in a future episode. If you haven't subscribed, check out Gen X Podcast. Posting videos every Friday, shorts every day. Subscribe, check us out. All right, see you guys on the next episode.